our next presentation, we do have Christy Lausch, who will be joining us here. Hey, Christy.
Hi.
Hi. Christy is the Vice President over at T. Rowe Price Retirement Plan Services and the Senior Manager in the Workplace Investors Experience. She's responsible for evaluating, enhancing, and improving the participant experience, focusing on deepening engagement, increasing participant action, and improving retirement outcomes. Christy, thank you so much. Take it from here.
All right. Awesome. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me here today. My name is Christy Lausch. I'm in charge of all of our content on the workplace investor experience side for all of the record keeping business with T. Rowe Price. And I'm here today to talk to you about some case studies on how we use data to create our experiences and engage deeper with our participants to drive them to better retirement outcomes. So first up, my slides aren't moving. There we go. So I'm going to talk about our approach. First, it's a 5-step approach. So we start with defining a question as we start thinking about any type of campaign that we're getting ready to launch. Then we create a prediction or a hypothesis about what we think will happen during the campaign. After we launch the campaign, we do some testing and learning so we can then analyze how the campaign functioned. And then from there, we draw conclusions and iterate. So we're constantly learning from what we're launching so that we can make our next campaigns even better using data. So the first case study I'm going to talk about is Smart Video. Smart Video is a video that uses personalized data to drive participant engagement and actions. And we have a suite of smart videos that we use designed around driving different behaviors to get people to have better retirement outcomes. So in this case study, our question was, how do we provide point-in-time content and education to help drive participant behaviors? And our hypothesis was that if we embed content and education at the time that someone's making an important decision, will improve those outcomes. So what we did with this case study is we took a scene from our longer format smart video that was focused just on changing a contribution. And we made a mini smart video. So the video was only about 30 seconds long. We then took that video and embedded it into the transaction screen, which is the image that you see on the right. So while someone is within that transaction flow and about to make a change to their salary deferral for retirement, they can watch a personalized video that shows them what they're currently contributing, what our recommendation is, which is the 15% guideline, and how they might step their way into getting towards that 15% savings rate. And what we found was when we embedded this content into that transaction screen, we had about an 86% completion rate. And what that means is people viewed the video about 86% of the way to completion. So compared to some of our other non-smart videos where it was about 16% less. So they watched 86% of the video. People who watched the video were 21% more likely to change their deferral compared to 4.7% of people who were in that transaction screen but didn't watch the video. So we had a higher impact on people once they watched the video and learned about the importance of saving more. 21% increased their deferral. And then of the people who watched the video, we had 19.5% of people who actually signed up for auto increase. And so this is the service that gradually increases their contribution each year, get up to a set amount that they can set. And that was compared to 3.7% of people who did not watch the video. So we know that contribution rate is one of the most important factors in someone's retirement income success. So what did we learn? So we learned that if we embed education at the time of a transaction, it encourages people to take action and a positive action. And so what we're doing with this information is we're continuing to build out our suite of smart videos to support some other key decision making. And our next one that we actually are in the process of creating now is around distributions, because we know that's an important education opportunity as well. So our next case study where we're using data to help drive participant income, education and outcomes is a confidence builder. And You might be asking yourself, what is a confidence builder? Well, a confidence builder is a message that's delivered to a participant or an investor that's using data. It can be delivered to a very highly specialized audience using multiple points of data to deliver the message. And in this case study, we're going to look at it similar to the smart video example, is focused on getting people to save more for retirement. So let's take a look at this case study. For this campaign, we started with the question of how does psychology impact participant actions in decision making? And our hypothesis was that investors don't make financial decisions on their own. We know that planning for retirement and making financial decisions can be overwhelming and challenging. And so our hypothesis was that people want to take time when they're making those important decisions. So with this confidence builder approach, when we started to create the creative approach, we applied what we call behavior card approaches. So you can see there's a few here up on the screen that I used as examples. And they're basically ways of crafting messages to help impact someone's emotions and get them to take engagement and action. So you can see here, ones that we considered were emphasizing gains of a behavior, trying not to overwhelm a user. That may sound familiar to many of you in this industry because we know it can be very confusing with a lot of jargon and information coming at them to make decisions. So we don't want to overwhelm them in making a decision. We want to put them in control or call attention to social relevant norms. So these are all different approaches that we could consider taking. And so in the case study, we ended up choosing a few to take to user testing. So we chose don't overwhelm the user and calling attention to relevant social norms. And you can see in the middle image here, we had some sketches that our designer sketched out in terms of how that email message would be crafted using someone's data. And we took these two approaches into user testing, got feedback, and from that created what the final version is, which is over on the right. You can see it's talking about, it has someone's name in it. It's talking about their average savings rate being at 8% compared to 15%, which is our target. And then at the bottom of the email, it gives them some projections on their salary and how they can make some changes to get closer to that 15%. So from the launch of this email campaign, what we found was about 4,400 people increased their salary deferral. And this was a small group of people that we targeted. They had to be saving at 8% or less. So we saw a good action rate, which was 3.2 times more likely to increase their deferral if they got one of these save more messages compared to people who were not a part of the campaign. And what we also found was through our user testing that people were saying that they were talking to their family members, their peers, their colleagues to make decisions. They weren't necessarily getting an email or a message presented to them and taking action immediately. And so with this important information, we made two critical changes. One was to make the email content shareable in that we put a little bit more content in the email than maybe we normally would have, so that if someone was forwarding it on to a friend or a colleague, they would have some education built into the email. The other thing that we did was we extended the window of time that we look at success and measurement of our campaigns to allow time for investors to have those conversations. So we used to look at campaign measurement about 30 days after launch. Now we've extended that window out to 90 days, and we found that these emails have a longer shelf life, and we're still getting action 60 and 90 days down the road from people who are receiving these messages. So that was it for my two case studies today, nice and quick. And so if you have any questions about how we're using data at T. Rowe Price on any of those case studies or anything else, let me know.